Thank you. I should preface this by saying that I'm glad to be able to be back here, albeit only briefly. I'm glad to be meeting with you again. So I'll make this very brief. We don't have much time. I just wanted to underscore some of the points where I've tried to bring things together within the narrow limits we're familiar with in this opinion. I'd like to pick up what the colleague said just now regarding the financial perspectives. The guidelines, for my opinion, revolved around the fact that we're talking about areas which are underfunded. This is virtually a chronic illness. They're constantly withdrawing money from these programs, which are actually vital as far as I'm concerned. Now, I quite understand that every committee is likely to make the same points regarding programs that fall within their remits, but I really do think these programs are vital. Now, looking at the ones we have in front of us today, LIFE, Health for Growth, and the Union Civil Protection Mechanism, among those three programs, I would just like to focus on a few points. Colleagues will have had the opportunity to read the opinion. I'm sure they've already done so, so I won't go all the way through it. So I'll just pick up the points I think are most relevant to today's debate. One of those is not using the economic crisis as an excuse for withdrawing investment from the area of climate change action. This issue is important enough to avoid excessive cuts in this area. And that's why I've made my suggestions in paragraphs 1 and 2. And the same applies to everything to do with energy efficiency and involving SMEs and so forth. So there's a whole range of issues which are vital if the European Union is to be competitive while pursuing the development model I think we all agree on in this committee. Then, may I say, in paragraph 3, I'm not sure what you've ended up with in the various texts, but the original proposal was that we should reassign funds to the Global Biodiversity Fund. In the Commission's proposal, that had been withdrawn from the financial perspectives, and there was no budget assigned to this. There's just a token entry in the various columns. So I think that has to be reincorporated in the financial perspectives with a certain amount of funding attached to it. And then on Health for Growth, that program is absolutely crucial. That obviously is a fundamental issue for the public. Health, well, for growth reflects the fact that the healthcare sector accounts for 10% of EU GDP and a large, indeed 10% of jobs in the EU. So we have to keep up the level of resources within the programme as planned. We're also aware of the fact, after all, that in 2020 we're apprehensive that there will be a shortfall of health workers to the tune of 1 million missing health workers across the EU. So obviously, at a time of crisis such as the one we're undergoing now, we have to stand up for this very important sector. This programme could do a lot more for creating and keeping jobs and preserving public health. That's why I'm really underscoring this point. Lastly, the European Union Civil Protection Mechanism. The position I've adopted here reflects the point that this is one of those promises that keeps getting postponed whenever it comes to European investment. And we're well aware that natural disasters, or man-made disasters too, do not have any defined time and place to occur, so we have to ensure that there are enough resources there to meet the needs they create. That implies that we need better instruments than the ones we now have, which are not tailored to the needs of these areas. Paragraph 8 may not be as clear as it might be, given the way I worded this, but the point I'm trying to make in paragraph 8 is that we should have this indicative figure of 70% of the budget for actions within the European Union, with the other 30% being for cooperation outside the European Union. And again, I think that reflects the policy position of the European Union, namely that we want to keep up a decent level of funding for outside cooperation. Thank you.